crypto, Daniel. Tell us a little about crypto. 97,000 on Bitcoin. Holy cow.
I am shocked about the price action in crypto. When crypto rallied from high 70s to call it mid to high 80s, I was in the camp of saying, hey, I've been buying Galaxy Digital for other reasons we talked about, but I was in the camp saying, hey, listen, I think crypto is going back to 70, might even have a 6 handle on it. That looks to be a very ignorant call because of the tailwinds and such. But what I am excited about, even though we'll get into politics quickly here, there's a lot of back and forth, but as of now, the House is still planning on voting on the Genius or stable coin legislation. Now, the reason I say that is because we've had some, recently there's been some Democrats that have hold out or saying, hey, you don't have our votes, and it needs bipartisan legislation, or it needs both parties. This doesn't have the backing on just the Republican side. And the hang up here is, hey, some Democrats are putting their feet down because they're worried about how the Trump meme coins and the Trump family deals are enriching themselves off of crypto. They're going to hold out, see how that plays out. I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. The fact that they're still scheduled, which could change, to hold this vote tomorrow, I think is extremely bullish. I don't know how legislation is not a huge factor in driving the price of crypto at this point. Frank, what say you?
What's driving crypto and it's inevitable to go to 200,000 is the fundamentals. Right? And people aren't used to saying that or hearing that. They're like, crypto, and it's great because all these deficits, and now it's a younger generation, it's the younger generation's gold. And yeah, I get that stuff. I get it. But when you're looking at Bitcoin and the adoption that's taking place, first of all, it took forever Paul Atkins to get confirmed. Right? You saw a lot of confirmations happen before that, and this just happened a month ago. And this is the SEC guy. It's just a chair that's saying, crypto. I mean, the first one I was about was crypto. What does this do? It opens up the whole entire landscape of something that we never had. We had an administration that was going after the banks, said, anyone deal with these two banks, we're going to come after you. Literally wrote letters that I have, that they wrote letters to these banks, right? They forced them into bankruptcy. They forced them into bankruptcy, these crypto banks, right? You couldn't take custody, anything. Now you could take custody. Now you have institutions coming in. If you look at the fundamentals of Bitcoin, there's only 450 Bitcoin produced a day. If you take, 95,000 as the price, just say 95,000 as the price, you're looking at $43 million. And then you times that by 30 days is 1.4 billion, right? So if you're looking at inflows on a monthly basis of tens of billions going into BlackRock, even if you times that by even more, like 15 billion, if you times it by 12 annually, 15 billion at 95,000 are produced, you're seeing tens of billions of dollars just going into the Bitcoin funds. Right? So that's enough to drive. We're not talking about MicroStrategy. You're not talking about a whole bunch of other things. Look, there's 72 crypto ETFs on the SEC's desk right now for 2025. 72. Most are going to get approved now that Paul Atkins just confirmed. What does this do? You talk about ones that have options behind them, 2 times leverage Bitcoin funds, yield with covered calls. My favorite, look it up. QBF is an uncapped Bitcoin ETF. So it limits your losses to 20% while providing you unlimited upside. That's pretty cool. Now you have Solana.
What are the fees on that? That's impressive.
No, it's impressive, and a lot of these are.
They're telling you worst case scenario you lose 20, and best case scenario you
participate in the upside of it.
That'll get into that'll attract money.
That's going to attract money, right?
So
again, it should. But now you're going to see Solana ETFs. You're going to see more Ethereum ETFs that have come out. Now Avalanche, all these other ETFs, you're going to have structured ETFs, but what does it do? It provides easier access for people where you don't have to really go to the Coinbase or the crypto markets. Now you can buy a lot of these through ETFs just through your normal brokerage account. And you look at Galaxy Digital, finally getting a NASDAQ listing with the previous administration, even though Novogratz is one of the biggest donors for the Democrats, they were like, F you. I don't care. I know you met every requirement, but F you, we're still not going to do it. Doesn't matter. That's what you're not going to do. Now it's going to be either this week or next week, and you saw Galaxy, which is in a lot of portfolios, really start taking off. The Dubai conference just took place, the token 2049. I don't know if you saw it, but the headline speaker was Eric Trump saying, we're pissed off at all the banks that went after us and stuff like that, and crypto's going to change. But I wanted to bring this up. If you guys could see this on YouTube in this picture, I don't know if you saw the list of guests there. So you're looking at CZ, founder of Binance. Yes, he got fined. You have Arthur Hayes, another guy, it's intermediates, whatever. But you have the CEO of Binance was there. You have Eric Trump speaking. You're laughing. But Binance is one of the greatest freaking companies ever.
I'm not saying he did anything wrong. Binance, it's awesome how you glossed over. The guy got fined.
$4.3 billion.
The guy went to jail, Frank.
$4.3 billion for a fine for what he did for not checking like KYC. Okay, we've seen people rob blindly during the credit crisis, every bank, and nobody went to jail, right? This is a $4.3 billion fine, which is insane. And he did it, and that's fine. But Binance is one of the greatest companies. Because when I saw
more
Binance,
insane is that he could pay a $4 billion.
He paid it and was like, yeah, here you go. He took it out of his left pocket. He's like, is it 4.3 or 5? 4.3? Okay. I thought it was 5.3. Here's 4.3. There you go. So then you had at this conference the CEO of Tether, the CEO of Circle, and then CEO of C1. But then when you look, it gets interesting. Robert Mitchnick, you know what that is? The head of global assets for BlackRock. Pretty big firm who was at this conference. 15,000 attendees paying $5,000 each, sold out, jammed, packed. You have Van Eck, CEO of Van Eck. You have Matthew McDermott, who is the global head of digital assets for who? Goldman Sachs. Christy Moy, partner at Apollo. Okay, this is what's happening in crypto right now is the inflection point. You needed the regulation. You have it. You have someone in the administration that's saying, hey, we're pro-crypto. My advice to you when it comes to crypto right now, and I thought this would happen earlier, and I didn't expect tariffs, and it really hurt a lot of the cryptos. I would start buying the secondary names, not the Bitcoins and Ethereums. Go into the Solanas, the Avalanches, the Binance, which is BNB, Chainlink, Litecoin. They're going to see massive inflows. It's like the spillover. As Bitcoin goes higher, you're going to see more adoption. You're also going to see a lot more companies and stocks adopt this as well. And if you look at it as another reason to buy this, I'll give it to you, because when it looks at demand, I'll pull this chart up too. The total assets under management, if you're looking, it's $100 trillion. It's close to that. Like we're like a year or two away, $100 trillion. A 2% allocation of what Larry Fink is saying, that's $2 trillion, which is more than the market cap of Bitcoin. And he's saying you should have a 2% allocation within Bitcoin, within crypto. And maybe that's a little high. Maybe you say 1%. Even at 1%, look at the demand that's coming in from this. Look at the demand that's coming in from the ETFs. And we only have a limited supply of this. It's not like gold's going to go higher, but if gold goes to 4,000 to 5,000, people are going to start producing a shitload of gold because they haven't done so in 12 years. You look in cash on the balance sheets is incredible. Trillions of dollars where you see more and more companies start to come in and say, hey, you know what? We're going to add Bitcoin on our balance sheet instead of cash, instead of gold. And you're going to see it in a lot of stocks. And, you know, those who shit on MicroStrategy when it went to the 200s and stuff like that, where is it now? It's at 400 again. It was 230 a month ago. Pay attention to crypto. I'm not telling you to go all in on crypto, but it deserves a part of your speculative money because the gains that you could make in this are greater than 90% of the stuff that you're going to invest in the markets because they come out at crazy valuations. You can get into a lot of early names that are funded, names that have good token economics, which matter in this industry, which is why we create our newsletter. And you can find that stuff out by us. We just tell you what to buy through our crypto newsletter. But you're looking at Bitcoin. It's inevitable. We said it was going to go to 100,000. It went to 100,000. We recommended 6,000. We've been in it for a very, very long time. Ethereum went at 180 in our newsletter. We still have it, right? And yes, it went to 4,000, and it's still much higher than that now. But it's going to filter down to these secondary, and then you're going to see the innovation come where you weren't allowed to launch new crypto companies because they were seen as securities and not going to be seen as securities anymore under this administration. So now you're going to see new ideas being launched, new ideas being backed by private equity. Some of the biggest guys out there, Mr. Horowitz and things like that, they're all in. Fidelity, all in crypto. This is adopted already. This isn't coming. This is adopted. It's going to get bigger and bigger, and get on board. Just a small portion of your allocation, of your allocated money in stocks. Put a small portion there. It is risky, but the gains, the risk reward, it's hard to find a more favorable place. You're going to see a better risk reward than is in crypto, especially with all these massive tailwinds coming.
Yeah, the adoption or the financialization is going to be exciting to watch, especially if you're a nerd and a fan of capitalism like us, because you're going to see it implemented into the real world, loan, collateralized, borrowed against, all that good stuff. Well said there, Frank.